to Playing the Field. I'm Maria Serrao. Well, we are back in studio and we have some very exciting news to share with you today. We're debuting a new segment called Playing the Field Football 24/7. And this was really inspired by the fact that after the NFL season ends, after the Super Bowl, everybody still wants to talk about football, but we can't watch it. So let's just talk about it all the time. There's going to be so much going on anyway. So yeah, that's what we're going to do starting on today's show. So I'm very excited about that. And we're going to have so many guests and players and coaches and reporters that are going to be on every show talking about football and yes, other sports as well. But we will start right here with football. And on today's Football 24/7 segment, first of all, congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. They beat the New England Patriots. The score was 29-13, and it really was not even close. In fact, I thought it was going to be 9-0 at the end of the game. Of course, they did manage to score some points, but it really wasn't that close. And a big congratulations to our former Rams, Cooper Kupp and Ernest Jones, who now are Seahawks and very, very good people. So I'm excited for them. But it's time to move on, okay? It's time to talk about the Chargers, the Rams, a little bit with the Raiders, and anybody else that you guys want to talk about. So let's start with the Rams and Kobie Turner, who is one of their star players who I had a chance to sit down with, and now you are going to see this one-on-one. Let's take a look. Kobie, thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You know, I want to go back a little bit for people that don't know about you. Everybody knows you're on The Masked Singer, but you are an East Coast guy. You grew up in, is it Virginia?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about life in Virginia and when you first fell in love with this game of football.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Tallahassee, Florida. I moved up to Virginia in 7th grade, but really I've been in love with football since I was a kid. My parents told me at the age of 2 I was tackling vacuum cleaners.
I love it.
And so I was playing, I played flag football first, and flag football for me was more like playing tackle football. I looked up a ton to guys like Ray Lewis. I played a lot of middle linebacker, and that was my thing. I played Pop Warner in Florida and then kind of moved up to Virginia and continued to play ball. And that was always, really I'd say that was always my first love. And throughout Virginia, I was able to continue to work through that. Ended up getting a walk-on spot at Richmond, and then just, finding ways to be able to continue to expand and explore my passion for football. And now we're here.
It's interesting for guys that are in high school football. They say the jump from high school to college is big, but then college to pro is like really big. What was your college experience like?
Yeah, it was interesting because I decided to walk on at the University of Richmond. It's a private college. And I didn't have any offers anywhere except for some D3 schools. They would have given me like a work-study program where I could have afforded to go for 4 years, but my parents gave me 1 year if I chose Richmond to go and give it my all. So I really had a different college experience than a lot of guys, and especially a lot of guys nowadays. I mean, I had to come in and get right to work. And honestly, that's one of the things that I credit to my success today is having to come in, and I didn't have time to go and figure out all of these different social life things. Like, I had the things that I clung to, right? I love music, and so music was a part of my life as well, but I couldn't take the music scholarship that I got from Richmond because I wanted to be able to be fully focused and present with football to earn the full scholarship there. So I came in 1 year, earned my scholarship, and that's kind of what it's felt like really throughout my entire journey is, okay, I have to work and give everything that I have just to get to that next step. And then, okay, now we're going to move up a level. Now we're going to transfer from Richmond to Wake Forest. Now, for me to be great at Wake Forest, I have to give everything I have. I'm not one of those guys who, obviously, I believe that I'm innately talented and have gifts, but I wasn't one of those freak athletes per se. And so I really had to work and do whatever it took to be able to make it to that next level. And that's why I'm here today. I've worked the muscle of, okay, I have to work for this. Yeah.
It's interesting because I see that music brings you joy. How does that sort of help you when you're playing football?
Yeah, I mean, so Music, I feel like, is my superpower. Whenever I need moments to kind of calm down, whenever I need moments to just get away. I mean, last night, for example, I'm about to go to sleep, and my wife got me a kazoo for Christmas 2 years ago because I asked for it.
I love that. How do you love it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
fun.
It's awesome.
Oh my
And I
God.
didn't exactly know exactly how to play it, but I have my whole setup with guitars and pianos, and I was like, I'm gonna break out the kazoo. And so I just sit down and I'm playing for 45 minutes to an hour, and then I start singing and playing guitar and all of those things. And it brings me back to my sense of self. But then on game day, it takes it to a whole nother level to be able to have a playlist, to have music that I've listened to my entire life. I mean, I've listened to Go Hard by Lecrae for every game since I was playing in Pop Warner back in Florida right before the game. And so those songs activate something in me that reminds me of those moments when I'm a kid. Or if I turn on gospel, that brings me back to my childhood, and that's when I play in the mornings while I'm getting ready on Sunday mornings is, okay, how can I bring myself back to the pureness of this game? How can I bring myself back to just the love and just the passion? And so all of the music, it takes me all the way back, and then I'm able to really show up fully present because I have the music that takes me back, then the music that kind of amps me up, and then the last song I always listen to, Go Hard, has always prepped me my entire life to get ready to go and play football. And so when I play that clicks that moment in my head of, all right, now it's time to go.
Okay, what was it like to sing the national anthem at the Lakers and the Kings?
That was awesome.
You know that's the hardest song to sing, right?
Yeah, no, it's incredibly hard. I don't think people know just how hard it is. The range on it is insane.
Yes.
But it was a lot of fun. I love being able to sing and being able to show that other side of myself, and especially being able to be out in LA in a place where you can use all of those talents as well is huge. I will say, I remember at the Lakers game, I believe they were playing the Warriors, and
Just a little game.
and it was towards the end of the season, and so I'm out there doing the mic check, and they told me to go to center stage, and there's guys warming up. I'm not sure if it was Curry or if it was Clay or who it was, but it was some big guy. Oh, and I think Chris Paul was out there too, warming up. And I'm like, okay, and I'm just supposed to sing through the systems while they're all in their zone, like getting ready for the game. This is wild. But yeah, that was a nerve-wracking moment, but to be able to live that experience, to be able to share that with my wife and friends as well was incredible. And to, again, be able to show that we're so much more than just athletes. Like, there's so much more to me than football. Football is a huge part of who I am and what I do, and I take a lot of pride in that. But there's also so many more things, not just to me, but to every athlete that really interest us, and in a lot of ways that we're really good at. So I really do enjoy being able to use that talent.
You know, Devontae Adams yesterday, in fact, told us that this is a very mature group considering how young everyone is. And when I see you and just listening to you are, I think you're an old soul.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Because you are really wise beyond your years. I forget. Wait a minute. He's how old? Because where does that come from?
Yeah. I think being raised with my parents and my older siblings, I'm the youngest of four, so I always tried to learn. Really?
Yes,
Wait,
youngest
that's
of
awesome.
four, yes.
Yeah, so I always tried to learn what they did wrong and not do that, and learn what they did right. And then really one of the things that I've just learned about myself and learned about life is it's almost like the secret of life is people. Like just being able to interact with people, being able to be present in those moments with people and enjoy those moments. And so I always try to treat people the right way and enjoy my time with anyone and everyone that I'm around. And I think that takes me far, and that brings me into the present moment. And I think that's what some of the old souls have, right, is being able to be exactly present. I know nowadays there's a lot of things that take you away with social media, with phones, and I can get wrapped up in that as well. But I find that the moments that I really enjoy the most are just present moments that I'm able to spend with the people that I love.
It's just the best advice you could really give anyone. When you think about this team this year, this is such a family, and it always is, but I know every year it changes a little bit. Do you remember your draft day, and what was that like?
That was crazy. I was a little under the weather. And I had gotten calls before of teams that were like, okay, if you happen to not be drafted, we'd love for you to come to us and things like that. And so I didn't exactly know what was going to happen, but I knew that the Rams loved me. And I mean, they had shown up to my high school, they showed up to my college, and for a guy like me, that's a great thing. Like I know that I've treated people the right way throughout high school, throughout college, and so when my high school coaches told me that Rams were in the building, I knew that that was increasing my draft stock, and so I always had a feeling that it would be the Rams, unless somebody jumped ahead of them and picked me up. And so I don't know what it was. Something told me that I was going on day 2, but we didn't have a draft party until day 3. But I was sitting in the living room at a family friend's house, had my family surrounding me, my wife and her family surrounding me. She was my fiance at the time. And yeah, it was just a special moment when I got that call to be able to celebrate with everyone there. And it was so surreal, and I don't even think it fully hit me, or if it has still fully hit me. There's times
Just to let you know, you are a member of the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I remember one of my first preseason games to go out there. I think we played the Chargers, and to see the logos on the Chargers helmets, because like you get into the building and you're with your team, and it just feels like you're one of the guys, right? And you're just doing your best, and obviously being able to play along AD and practice alongside him, you're like, man, like this is the real deal. But to be able to get out there and to see an opposing team's logo and to be like, wow, I used to watch this. Like I used to watch as a fan, and all of the videos that I used to watch in preparation for this. And it's really those moments that it truly hits you, because for me, I'm just every step of the way, like I'm along for the journey. But then there's certain moments that take you back. And so I definitely remember too, my first trip up to Seattle. It was an emotional moment, because as we get off the plane and we're driving, and I'm like, man, I'm going into my first game, and I know that I'm going to be able to play a big role for this team. And so now, I kid you not, every single time we go back to Seattle, I'll text my wife, and it'll take me back to, man, this is where it first started. This was my first game. These were some of those moments. This is what was going through my head. And I remember, the nervous excitement that I had of, again, like, I'm here, but I'm only here because I've had to fight and claw my way to get here, and now I have to keep fighting and keep clawing to get to the top of this thing. And so it's crazy, but here we are.
It changes your appreciation, I think, when you have to work very hard at something, for sure. As we wind down, what kind of impact did Aaron Donald have on you?
He had a ton of impact on me. It was a lot of the small things, right? And I talk about it all the time, of just the way that he attacked each and every day, and the way that rubbed off on me. And that's something that I learned also at Wake Forest and at Richmond, but was definitely emphasized a ton at Wake Forest, is, all right, your habits. And I was able to see that in full display with the way that AD attacked everything that he did. So that was huge. And then I think an underrated thing that I don't talk about as much, but when I really think back and look at it, I mean, I was talking with BY even about this, is just the way that he believed in me. Like, I remember there was a time in practice where it's me, AD, and Henny talking about the way that we're running a stunt to free him up. And Henny's trying to coach me up on a way to do it maybe a little differently. And AD comes over and he's like, man, just let him do what he's been doing. He's been doing it like really well. He's been freeing me up. And in that moment, I'm just like, what? Like, this is the best of the best saying. And that was my goal for so much of rookie year, was, okay, in these moments, like, how can I do my job to be able to free him up? And obviously that creates opportunities for myself as well. And I was able to find those opportunities. But to have that belief, or I think of, and I talk about this one a lot too, is that moment versus the Browns 2-minute situation. I get a sack the play before, and then to be able to get a half a sack with him, result in a safety. We're going off, we're celebrating. He puts his arm around me, we start skipping, and I'm like, I'll do it. Like, I'll take it. Like, this is incredible. This is a moment that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Yes. So there's so many of his habits that I was able to kind of, that peeled off on me a little bit, and that I was already attuned to that way of thinking, but to be able to see that in full display, and try to emulate some of those the best that I could. But also, it's some things just as simple as the belief that he had in me and the way that he showed that to me, whether it be those moments, whether it be some games where I had a really good game, he got a game ball and he decides to give me the game ball, and he's like, you deserved it. And I have those up in my house. Like, I remember those moments so clearly. I remember the games that they were in, like all of that. And so all of that has led me to where I'm at today. And yeah, we just keep rolling.
And now you're going to be that for so many other players, of course. Like I said, such a great family. And We're excited to see you play this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, and you know, he was almost touchdown Turner the other day.
We were close. I picked it up with bad intentions. I was going to put a spin move on Trey McBride, but I couldn't get to him.
It was great. No, it was great. Thank you so much for spending some time. We love talking to you. You're just the heart and soul of this team, and we love it.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we had some big news this week with the Los Angeles Rams when quarterback Matthew Stafford got the MVP. That's right, he is MVP of the league, and he is coming back for his 18th season. He told us that at NFL Honors. And I did have a chance to ask head coach Sean McVay if Davante Adams was coming back, and he said unless I knew something he didn't, he would be back as well. And if you remember, Davante said as long as Stafford came back, he would come back. So they will get the train rolling again very soon. And as far as the Chargers go, they needed a new offensive and defensive coordinator, and they filled both positions very quickly. The offensive coordinator is a name that you all know and love. That was head coach Mike McDaniels from the Miami Dolphins. Now, we had a chance to get to know Coach McDaniels recently in a press conference, so I asked him what kind of voice did he want to be in the locker room, and here's what he had to say. Coach, we talk about new voices that come into a locker room. What kind of a new voice do you want to be?
The loudest voice. I think you just want to add value. You want to bring stuff out of people that maybe they are aware that they have inside of them. Maybe sometimes they aren't. I like to come to work and impact people, not off what I've done in the past or what I'm going to do in the future. I like to impact that day. So I've always kind of attacked life in that manner, and I think people are inspired by that. And team sports, to be a part of somebody, each individual or the collective, they kind of work hand in hand. But to be a part of a journey where they get better, and you're a part of that's what my appetite is, and that's what I was very, very confident I could supremely capture here. In one bolt way. Is that right?
Yep.
Nice. Nailed it.
And next season, the Super Bowl will be right here in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium. And do we remember which team won the Super Bowl last time it was at SoFi Stadium? The Los Angeles Rams, of course, and I'm sure they would like to do that again. We will see. All right, we'll be right back. And it is actually almost time for Dodger baseball and Angels baseball. And last weekend at Dodger Stadium, they held an event called Fan Fest or Dodger Fest. And Amy Cuevas and I were there, and we had a chance to catch up with all of your favorite Dodgers. So let's take a look.
I'm excited. Everyone's excited. It's just good to come back here and see everybody, and it's like you're back in school with all your friends again, and you just get that nice feeling. Everyone's going to go to Arizona soon, and I'm ecstatic. I can't wait. I think just like that, I think Connor and Mark gave me so many things. Like right before the postseason, we made some adjustments with like how my hip is lined up, and I think a lot of my issues before that was me trying to find a comfortable feeling with that. And so I think working with them, getting that feeling, kind of locking it in the postseason. This whole offseason just been like business as usual. Stay healthy, don't change anything, but just kind of solidify what I was doing in the postseason last year.
Oh, it's happening. Every time you get to Fan Fest, it's right around the corner. I'm excited. Off-season's been good. No rehabbing, so that's nice. Nice to have a normal off-season, and I'm looking forward to getting to Arizona in a couple weeks.
When you look at just what this season and what this team looks like, I mean, the moves that this front office, there's never a surprise with this group. But what was your reaction to Jess and Edwin Diaz? You guys don't have a closer.
Yeah.
Kyle Tucker, you get the biggest name in the free agency market. What is the reaction for someone like you who's been there before, but also knows what it's like coming to this team?
Yeah, it injects energy into us. To go out and keep getting the best players year in and year out, even when you're winning World Series, it's refreshing. It just really shows you that our organization, our front office, our ownership group wants to win every single year, and to be a part of that, it's special. And when you sign Edwin, you're like, oh, that's great. And then all of a sudden, Kyle comes along a couple of weeks ago, and you're just like, geez, okay. it's exciting. As you can tell, talking about it makes me smile. A little leakage got out of there. I heard about something I told him on FaceTime, but no, Kyle's great. You play against him 4 straight years as an all-star, one of the best players in the game. What he can do, hitting, running, stealing bases. His glove's there too, so it's just going to fit perfectly. Left, right, left, right, left, right. However Doc wants to manage our lineup, it's not going to be fun to get through. So I think he's going to fit perfectly. We've got a lot of guys that can surround him, make him feel comfortable. It's always hard to come to a new team with that kind of contract and be comfortable, and I think we got the right people to help him get his feet on the ground and run.
I think that you spend the offseason trying to detach, catch your breath a little bit, and now seeing players here, seeing their energy, obviously seeing the energy of the fans. It's certainly time. The calendar's turned and spring is in the air. So yeah, we're all excited about getting going again.
So have you thought more about just what the top of the order and the top of the line could potentially look like?
You know what? I've thought about it. I'm not kind of emboldened to how we're going to do it. I do feel great about having Shohei lead off. I do feel great about having Will in the 5. And then after that, I'm going to kind of read and react. But kind of the handedness, you certainly see, Mookie in the 3. But I'm kind of going to see how it goes as we get to spring. I don't mind the 3 in the air as a carrot and a kind of a North Star of focus. But I do think that we're very mindful that there's a lot of work that needs to be done to get to that point. And also it's something of a challenge that I feel that our guys are not going to run from, because after winning 2 in a row and 3 in 5 or 6 years, whatever it is, with the same group of guys, a lot of the guys, you got to kind of keep guys incentivized. And I think that's something that's a good thing the guys are chasing, but with, again, understand that we got a lot of work to do.
I feel great, ready to go. I know there's going to be a lot of challenges, just like last year, but we got the group that's kind of been through everything, and it'll be fun.
Have you been able to reflect on last year and just how valuable, really the last 2 years, how valuable it was to have not only a full season at short kind of under your belt, of course the winning, the success, now going into this year feeling like just another kind of step ahead of the game in that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, now it's kind of I can have kind of a normal spring training. It's not something I'm trying to learn. It's just more like a sustained thing, which is a little bit easier than trying to learn something new. And I got Miggy and Woody and the gang is all here, so we should be okay. We'll see how it goes. Even though it was down last year, before I got sick, I was probably having one of the best springs I've ever had. So I just got to get back to just rewiring and trusting myself, and really not worrying about having a bad year last year. Just kind of putting that out of my mind and just not even trying to have a good year this year. It's just really just playing, play, have fun, and we'll get there whenever we get there.
Yeah, definitely coming here to Dodger Stadium and seeing all the fans and the excitement for a new season definitely make you turn the page. Obviously, you're never gonna forget the good times that we had the last couple years, because it's impossible not to think about the great moments of 2024, 2025, and that's gonna give us the motivation and the fuel that we need to start another spring training in a couple of weeks. Pretty excited because the organization is never kind of ready to be done, continue to add players, continue to add talent, and I think that's a good thing because it's going to push ourselves to be the best that we can every single day. Older players need to continue to get better, younger players need to earn their spot, and I think that's going to be a good competition, a good vibe, and a good ambient in our clubhouse.
So with the news of Edwin Diaz, Kyle Tucker, what was your reaction as to what that does for this clubhouse?
Yeah, I mean, a sense of urgency, like we're not done just because we won the last couple of years. I think it's really important when you have a group on ownership and the front office and coaching staff, knowing that you can always get better and you can always improve. Obviously, we just not doing it just for the team because I feel like we're capable of winning regardless of who we have in our roster, but for all the fans, and the people who support the Dodgers every single day. It doesn't matter if it's May or if the last game in October or November. I just feel like they're doing a really good job of putting the product on the field that everybody wants to see, that everybody feel comfortable and happy that they have a team that they can support year after year.
It's been a great off season, pretty much business as usual. I think the good thing was that I wasn't hurt this year, or at least rehabbing from the injury, so very relatively normal off season. I've been coming to the stadium during the off season, but today obviously there's a lot of cars in the parking lot and just a lot more bodies, so it just feels like we're almost close to the regular season. Just the second time through, just to begin with, my sensation felt great. I think it has something to do with the training in general, but I really just had the full confidence to be able to push a little bit more than the first time. When I signed with the Dodgers, that was, I had the conversation with Mark Walter and Andrew Freeman in terms of making sure that we can continue to add players. And I'm sure from a fan's perspective, I'm sure they're ecstatic to be able to see something like this. But at that time, it was really just doing something that made sense.
I feel good. Yeah, I feel good. I'm just going to go slower. Last year, I had so much improvement. I got way too excited, and I was really pushing to get to spring, get through spring, and then this year I'm going to be a little slower. Just in how I, ramp up. Be a little more smarter on that, but I feel good.
It definitely didn't hit me until probably a little bit into the off season, but it was nice to get back and hear all the stories of people watching the games in different places. That was probably the coolest part.
So what do you take into this year in regard to, is there anything that you're working on, anything that you learned about yourself last year? I mean, how do you kind of approach going into this season and where you're at right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a few things. The bullpen and getting that experience was nice to be able to, come in the game ready to go, especially in big situations, and then having that trust in me was really nice. But also, just making sure my body's ready for the end of the year for November baseball. I felt pretty normal, honestly. I felt like my stuff came back to where it was before pretty soon, and that's just a testament to the trainers and the coaches that did my rehab in Arizona and here too. But obviously, yeah, I'm looking to build on it and hopefully even, come back even stronger this year. I like working out, I like lifting, so I stayed doing that the whole time. Throwing, I took a couple weeks off and then got back into it, so that was nice to give my arm a little bit of a break for the first time in a while. But yeah, no, mentally, I'd say I stayed pretty baseball focused the whole time.
Did it go by fast for you, or was it light?
Yeah, it definitely went by fast. I mean, obviously it's a short off season, so it was fast, but yeah, it felt pretty quick for sure.
Good. Ankle's feeling great. I've hit every checkpoint along the way of the recovery. Haven't had any setbacks so far. And everything's feeling good. Obviously it feels good to have the boot off and be walking around and, getting back into some baseball activities, which I just started this past week. I'm encouraged. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to get my ankle to a point where it's 100% and hopefully be able to, put all those issues behind me. I don't know. I mean, I guess I am taking it somewhat slow just because I need to be patient to make sure once I get back to playing, I don't have any issues again.
And all the players are excited to get out to Arizona because, of course, for the Dodgers, they want to get that three-peat started. And if you have never been out to spring training in Arizona, it is really a ton of fun. The Angels are in Tempe, the Dodgers are in Glendale, and really everybody's in a good mood because nothing has really started yet. They're not stressed out. So it's a fun time if you've never been out there. Take a trip. You will love it, especially if you are a baseball fan. And as I mentioned, Amy Cuevas and I will be out there for the next show in Arizona. So come out, join us, come on the show. You'll have a great time, I promise. And that will do it for the show today. Remember, you can watch Playing the Field 24/7 at playingthefieldtv.com. That will do it for today. I'm Maria Serrao, and we will see you next time.